What if an enemy general marched into your country with an army crossed mountains no one thought possible and then defeated your armies again and again for over a decade? That's exactly what happened to Rome. At the height of its rising power, the Roman Republic faced one of the most dangerous enemies in its entire history, a Carthaginian general named Hannibal Barca. His strategy was so bold, so unexpected, that Roman commanders spent years trying to understand how he kept beating them. And it all began with one of the most daring military moves ever attempted. In the 3rd century BC, the Mediterranean world was dominated by two powerful states, Rome and Carthage. Rome controlled most of Italy and was rapidly expanding, while Carthage was a wealthy maritime empire based in North Africa with influence across Spain and the western Mediterranean. The two powers had already fought one brutal conflict known as the First Punic War. Rome eventually won that war and forced Carthage to surrender important territories. The defeat humiliated Carthage and created a deep desire for revenge. One man in particular grew up determined to challenge Rome again. His name was Hannibal Barca. According to ancient historians, when Hannibal was just a child, his father Hamilcar Barca made him swear an oath that he would never be a friend of Rome. That promise would shape Hannibal's entire life. As an adult, Hannibal became a brilliant military commander in Carthage territories in Spain. There he built a powerful army made up of soldiers from many cultures: North Africans, Iberians, Celts, and mercenaries. In 218 BC, Hannibal launched a bold attack against a Roman allied city called Saguntum in Spain. Rome demanded he stop. Hannibal refused. That moment ignited the Second Punic War, one of the most dramatic conflicts of the ancient world. But instead of waiting for Rome to attack him, Hannibal did something completely unexpected. He decided to invade Italy itself. Most generals would have sailed across the Mediterranean with a fleet. That would have been faster and easier. Hannibal chose a far more dangerous route. He marched his entire army across land through southern France and over the massive mountain barrier of the Alps. The journey was brutal. Snowstorms, landslides, hostile tribes, and freezing temperatures destroyed much of his army. Soldiers slipped off cliffs. Supplies ran dangerously low. Many animals and soldiers died during the crossing. Yet somehow, Hannibal kept pushing forward. After weeks of suffering, his battered army finally descended from the mountains into northern Italy. The Romans were stunned. No one had believed an army could cross the Alps like that. But Hannibal was not finished surprising them. Soon after entering Italy, Hannibal began defeating Roman armies with stunning consistency. The first major clash came at the Battle of the Trebia River. Hannibal lured the Roman army into attacking across freezing water early in the morning. While the Romans were cold, tired, and disorganized, Hannibal's hidden forces attacked from the sides and rear. The Roman army was crushed. Not long after, Hannibal struck again at the Battle of Lake Trasimene. This time he set one of the largest ambushes in ancient history. His soldiers hid along hills surrounding a narrow road beside the lake. When the Roman army marched into the trap, Hannibal's forces attacked from every direction. Thousands of Roman soldiers were killed in the chaos. Rome had never experienced disasters like this before. But the worst was still coming. In 216 BC, the two sides met in what many historians consider the greatest tactical masterpiece in military history, the Battle of Cannae. Rome assembled a gigantic army, possibly around 80,000 soldiers, determined to crush Hannibal once and for all. Hannibal had far fewer troops, perhaps around 50,000 men. Instead of trying to hold a defensive line, Hannibal designed a clever formation. He placed weaker troops in the center and stronger African infantry on the sides. As the Romans pushed forward, the center slowly bent backward like a bow. The Romans believed they were winning. But they were walking straight into a trap. As the Roman army advanced deeper into the curved line, Hannibal's stronger troops on the wings suddenly attacked inward from both sides. At the same time, his cavalry smashed into the Roman rear. The Roman army became completely surrounded. What followed was one of the most devastating massacres in military history. Tens of thousands of Roman soldiers were killed in a single day. Entire legions disappeared. The shock of Cannae spread across the Mediterranean world. Many Roman allies began switching sides to support Hannibal. It seemed possible that Rome itself might fall. But Hannibal faced a huge challenge. He had won incredible victories, but he lacked the resources needed to capture the heavily fortified city of Rome. Meanwhile, the Romans changed their strategy. Instead of fighting Hannibal directly, they began avoiding large battles. A Roman commander named Fabius Maximus adopted a slow strategy of harassment, cutting off supplies and wearing down Hannibal's army. At the same time, Rome attacked Carthaginian forces in Spain and other regions. The war slowly turned into a global struggle across multiple fronts. Eventually, a rising Roman general named Scipio Africanus carried the war directly to North Africa, threatening Carthage itself. Hannibal was finally recalled from Italy after more than 15 years of campaigning there. In 202 BC, Hannibal and Scipio faced each other in the Battle of Zama. This time, the Romans had learned from years of fighting Hannibal. Scipio defeated the Carthaginian army and ended the Second Punic War. Carthage was forced to surrender and lost most of its power. Even though Hannibal lost the final battle, his reputation as one of history's greatest commanders never faded. For more than a decade he had invaded enemy territory, defeated larger armies, and pushed Rome closer to defeat than almost any other enemy in its history. Military leaders still study his tactics today. His victories at Trebia, Lake Trasimene, and Cannae remain classic examples of strategy, deception, and battlefield genius. Hannibal may not have destroyed Rome, but he forced the most powerful republic in the ancient world to fight for its survival. And that alone made him one of the most legendary generals who ever lived. Hannibal Barca showed that bold strategy and brilliant tactics could shake even the strongest empire. His war against Rome remains one of the greatest military campaigns in history. If you enjoyed this incredible story of Hannibal and his war against Rome, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more epic battles and legendary commanders from history. And if you want to see another genius strategist who shocked the world, check out the next video on your screen.